Hi all, and welcome to this week's racing-based preview. We've got the Group 3 Bletchingly Stakes coming up at Caulfield this week. So together, Rick Chapman and I will try and find the winner of that race. And as well as that one, we've got the Winter Challenge at Rosehill and the Lightning Stakes at Morphettv. So Rick, let's get stuck into these. How are you this morning, mate?
Yes, it's pretty chilly in Sydney, but the sun's shining, and hence my attire. But no, I'm very good, very healthy and very well.
All right, Bletchingly Stakes looks a good race for mine, and one thing that's got to be certain is there is a stack of speed in this race. So how do you see this one playing out?
It's an amazing amount of speed. It'll be interesting to see how fast the cleaner goes, but you know that Lord of the Sky and Charmed Harmony and possibly Tudor and certainly Mahuda are going to go forward, which means there'll be gaps about 2 or 3 pairs back, giving Odyssey Moon a chance to slot in. He will be storming home. He's in great form, Odyssey Moon. You just don't know how good Mahuda has kicked on from his form earlier this year. But I like, and I know everybody's going to laugh at me, but I like Fast and Rocking. He was a stone cold certainty beaten last start, and I didn't think the ride gave him any favours either. But this time, I think Dwayne will be able to get him out off a fast pace. He should be about 9th or 10th turning for home and just rattle down the outside when they all get tired. But I'm very wary of Odyssey Moon because of his consistency and absolutely unsure about how good Mahuda is this time up. But I think he'll be right in the hunt. But I'll have a bit each way on Fast and Rocking.
Yeah, well, as soon as you mentioned Odyssey Moon there, Rick, I thought you were going to go for him. And I know you tipped Fast and Rocking last time, so I thought we might have been on a different page, but we're not, because I'm going with Fast and Rocking as well. That run last start, as you said, he was caught back on the fence, got too far back, over 1100. He was storming home and just got, he ran up some bums and was stopped dead in his tracks. So extra 100 metres, he's got that good run under his belt. I think he looks the one, especially with that hot pace up the front.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. But he's a really honest horse, Odyssey Moon. And the big query for me, which is stopping me from having a big bet, is how good Mahuda has come back this time. Because he's the type of horse that gives you the impression that, all right, if he's kicked on 2 lengths and got a bit stronger this time up, then he just blows them away. But I'm going to take the punt that Fast and Rocking will get clean air this time.
Yeah, I think you've got to take a bit of common sense approach to this one, Rick, and I'm sure Darren Weir will as well. Mahuda being first up, he's drawn out in barrier 8. You've got all these other speed horses. It's going to be suicide for his campaign to send him up to the lead and try and take those horses on. So as much as he is a noted front runner, I can't see Weir wanting him to be up there, having a big first up run when he's got bigger fish to fry later in the carnival. So I think we might see a different Mahuda settling back on the speed because he needs to, and maybe the other 3 will just fight it out. And if Mahuda has any luck and settles back, he could be charging home too. He's a good horse. He strung a lot of them together last prep, so I think he's definitely a danger if he gets cover. I think Lord of the last time, and he just ran out of condition. A lot of people hate that horse, but he's a definite chance. But like I mentioned before, I'll be on Fast and Rocking.
Yeah, me too. It'll be interesting to see how the race pans out for a number of reasons, but I disagree with you on that. I think Mahuda's a natural front runner, and being fresh, he will try and cross them, and probably will. I think he's capable of leading on his own, which just sets up a fast pace. But anyway, again, we shall see. That's interesting. You think they'll go back on him, because I think they'll definitely go forward from out there.
Yeah, well, I just think it makes sense with a longer campaign ahead. If he was 3rd, 4th up, then there's no doubt he'd be challenging for the lead and doing what he does best. But I just think, with future races in mind, they would be smart to just to sit back on him and give him a warm-up run here.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds good in theory, but those front runners, they don't like to be restrained. So I'm being fresh. But we'll see. We shall see. Either way, Fast and Rocking is suited by what happens.
Yeah, exactly. All right, mate, let's kick over to Rosehill. We've got the Winter Challenge. You got one picked out there for us?
Yeah, it's a tough race. So I think at the weights, though, Zinzan Eddie is the one to beat. He's going to get a glorious run just in behind the pace after drawing the fence. As always, jockeys will tend to head 2 or 3 off the rails as they turn for home in every race in winter, which I fail to understand most times. But and that'll give Zinzan Eddie the opportunity to get through on the fence. He meets Oxford Poet a lot better at the weights for going down to him last start. I do think Oxford Poet's going to be very, very hard to run down. He looks the only natural pacemaker in the race. But I think at the weights, I'm going to be on Zinzan Eddie and expect a huge run from Allergic. I know it's first up from a spell and it's the distance a lot shorter than what he's seen at his best at, but he's been working and trialling quite impressively. So I anticipate he'll run a big race, but I'm on Zinzan Eddie, and I think that'll be the trifecta: Zinzan Eddie, Oxford Poet, and Allergic.
Yeah, just on Allergic, I really wasn't that impressed by his trial, and first up 3 times he's never placed. So I'll definitely leave him alone. I think he's got a second, third up over a longer trip. Then I'll start looking into him. But as you mentioned, Zinzan Eddie, I'd be all over him if the track stays slow, Rick. But you might be able to fill us in there. I looked at the weather radar. It sort of looks 18 and sunny days up until Saturday. So could we possibly get a good track on Saturday?
No. It is very sunny today. It's 18 degrees. Friday is going to be similar, and so will Saturday. The issue is that the rail will be out 3 metres, the entire course, and it's not drying weather. It's nice weather to be out in, and you can go and sit out there at lunchtime and feel alive and get your vitamin D, but it's not that sort of savage drying weather, and I don't think that will help the cause of those wanting a good track, because it's a soft 7 right now, and cold mornings, it gets really cold here and it's frosty in the mornings, and so no, I don't think it'll be a good track, but I certainly think it'll be a nice track to race on, and Zinzan Eddie will be storming home from that inside draw.
Yeah, I think so, Rick. I was on Oxford Poet last time. I thought he looked really suited, but I don't think he gets 1,500. He's had one attempt, and his lead bag went flying on that occasion, and even still with the 3 or 4 kilos less, the saddle slipped as well, but he didn't hit the line strongly. I'm just not sure he can lead, and Zinzan Eddie was taking a lot of ground off him last start over 14, so he's definitely suited, better at the weights, longer trip, fitness on his side, and the soft track will help him. But there's one at odds I've got picked out. I really like Final Decisions run. His last couple of runs have been great. He drops him from carrying 59.5 to 54 in this race, and I just think Jason Coyle's got him primed for this one, and although this is a step up in grade, I'm happy to take the $12 about him and go each way.
Yeah, well, it's a good price. It's a good price, that horse. I think the meeting is going to be well received, and I'm particularly interested to see just how good this rising boom stayer Esteban is. He's won his last 2 starts each by over 7 lengths, and he's a massive rise in grade. It's race 2, massive rise to a benchmark 82 this time. So he's only winning a maiden a month ago, but he's very, very strong stayer. Gets out in front and just runs them off their legs. So Esteban is an interesting runner in race 2. And that's about my lot for the day, I think.
Yeah, speaking of stayers, I mentioned singing for Chris Lees last week. Geez, I thought we had the cash there, but he was nailed on the line. But it was a good run. As Chris said, he'll space his runs out, Newcastle Cup in a couple of months, and we'll see how he goes there. And he could still be cups bound, Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup. So I've already got on him early in the markets, and we'll see how he goes next time, and then to the Newcastle Cup.
You'd have to rate him on his home track now in the Newcastle Cup as being something that'll be hard to beat off that run. It was a very impressive run.
Yeah, it was, and he just ran out of condition. You could see that, but there's always next time. All right, well, the other feature, we'll quickly touch on that at Morphettv, Rick. We got the Lightning Stakes over 1,050 metres. I know you haven't covered the form in great detail over there, Rick, but this Show Hero looks a bit of a standout. I think David Jolly, very impressive. Daughter of Carp Hero. She's won both starts impressively. Won last time in really quick time. Now drops 5.5 kilos. When a couple of others that ran slower time on the day go up 5 kilos. So there's a couple of dangers. I think Cool Schnitzel with Darren Weir going over there. Loves that track and trip. Vedora for Lloyd Kennewell trialled brilliantly earlier in the week. So there's a couple of dangers, and also Power Trip for John McArdle. I liked his trial as well, and he's heading over there. He won the Maribyrnong trial first up, so that's good form to be taken into a race like this. But at the weights, I'm going for Show Hero at 550, and to be honest, I think this one's going to. I think she's going to win by a couple of lengths. So I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I had a fleeting look at it, and I couldn't disagree with any of that. It did come up in my mind as the one that is best in, and looks the one to beat too. So look at that, three big races, and we're both of us agreeing on 2 of them. That's a rarity.
Yeah, it's a rarity, but it's got to be a positive, Rick. All right, anything else that stands out on the day, mate?
No, no, not really. There's a lot of good country horses starting to make their way into the city races, and obviously, because I own horses in the bush that race in the bush, that's always good. There's a country horse in the last race, and I don't know how he'll go because it's a massive rise up. His name's I'm a Jet, and he's very good around the bush tracks. And he gets in here, near the limit. It's in the last race, so I might have a little bit on him if I'm in front. But that's about it. I'm just looking forward to it, and of course, Cronulla going for 16 in a row this weekend. Whew, that's always a good for me.
I'm a Jet. He's won his last 4 or 5 in a row, isn't he, Rick?
Yeah, he's good, carrying big weights and coming from huge barriers. Carrying huge weights and coming from outside barriers. He's. I'm glad to bring him to town because he deserves a shot at the city races.
All right. Well, there's just one other that I'm really keen on the day, and it's back at Caulfield. You got David Hayes and Tom Dabinick trained Wall Street Wolves come up as the $2.50 favourite. But that 8-length win on the Geelong Synthetic, I don't think that entitles him to be so short here. And I think Prince of Brooklyn is a standout. Both runs have been great this preparation. He failed miserably over 1,400 at his only attempt, but just ignore that. Not a lot went right, and he's out of a Zabeel mare, so 1,400's not beyond him. I think he's primed in this. He's going to get a run. He'll be charging home. He looks like he's looking for 1,400 now after 2 runs, and I've already heavily backed Prince of Brooklyn. So that's one for everyone to get on.
Good. Well, I like it when we get on early and get the better price.
Yeah, well, the 3 kilo came with Ben Allen, who's riding great at the moment. Gets him in with 56, and he's just so well in at the weights. Just needs a touch of luck from barrier 8, and I think he'll be storming home.
No, good.
All right, well, that's this week covered then, Rick.
Yep, yeah, I think we might have found some winners there. We're going to make some money.
All right, let's hope so. Good luck for Saturday, everyone, and we'll be back next week with hopefully some more winners.
Yeah, very good. All right, all the best.